Hi, happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another chat on the Bag Maker Society podcast. I see there's quite a few people in the chat already, so I am presuming this is going to be quite a popular chat. So you will have seen from the title and the posts that I've been doing on social media, I have the lovely Ruan from Yorkshire Sew Girl, who is primarily a dressmaker, but she has explored a little bit into bags. So I think we'll be chatting about sort of both sides of sewing today. So without further ado, let's welcome Ruan. Hi.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for giving up some of your evening tonight to come and chat with us.
Not a problem, not at all.
I'm going to just sort of say hi to a few people in the chat.
Okay.
Dawn is here saying, I didn't miss it, yay. Dawn is in Canada, so it's kind of lunchtime-ish there.
From a time perspective, yeah.
Yes, she sometimes does miss things because it's quite early usually where she is. Lots of people just kind of sort of saying hi to each other and hi to my husband, who was in the chat, just making sure everything was working okay. So we've got Tracy, Lynn, Karen, Kathleen, Sue's here, Melanie's here, Donna, Sonia. There's so many people.
Oh, that's lovely. Because I think sometimes when things like this are happening, you start panicking that it's going to be like tumbleweed and there's going to be nobody there.
Yeah, no, we have an amazing group that kind of join us most weeks.
A nice little family.
The sound is good. So I'm sure there's lots of people will have come across you either through YouTube or Instagram, but do you just want to kind of introduce yourself and sort of tell us how you got into sewing?
Yes, I certainly can. So I'm Ruan, by the way. I am 46 years old, had to think then. I am a mum of 2 young children, and I've been sewing now for about 12 years, I think, which sounds like a lot. But I've only been really into my sewing maybe for the last 5 years, maybe. Before that, it was kind of just a little hobby that I did as and when, but I didn't have it as like a dedicated hobby, whereas now it's just like a huge part of my life, really. I'm one of them cliche people, really, that as I was looking after my very newborn baby, I kind of felt like I'd lost my identity a little bit. I'm very much a social butterfly. I like to do a lot of things. And then being at home with a baby kind of changed all of that. And it was quite a big shock to me, really. And I just wanted to try and find something for me. I was at that point where I was kind of like, do you know what? I'm giving everything to another tiny human being. I would love to do something just for me at the moment. And I tried loads of things. So I tried, card making, jewelry making, that sort of thing. I'm quite an avid cross stitcher. I still absolutely love doing that. But I really wanted to try something else. And I watched the Sewing Bee. I'm one of them. And I absolutely loved it. I just turned to my husband at one point and went, I think I'm going to learn how to sew. And he was, I think, because a lot of people's opinion from an outside perspective see it as like an old hobby type, but it's so much more than that, isn't it? So I just looked up sewing classes in my local area. I managed to find some in Leeds. I signed up, went along to it, and I think my idea was that I was going to do like accessories and homeware and that type of thing. I didn't think about garment making at all. But I went to my first session with, I mean, now I'm just like, I can't believe that I did this. But I went to my first session with a child's sewing machine that my friend had lent me from work. And sat there all cocky, ready to start the first session, and now they were like, right, now turn your machine on. And I was like, well, I'm turning it on, but it's not actually coming on. And they were like, well, that's a bit weird, I'll come over and have a look. And I'd not got an electric cord. It was plugged into something. And I was sat with a child sewing machine about this big at this table without a cord to actually switch it on. I remember thinking, oh, maybe this isn't for me. I have no idea what I'm doing. So that was my level of knowledge when I first started. But luckily they lent me a machine, and I did like a 6 weeks beginner course, and I thought I really like this. And then the teacher said, why don't you come back and do a garment making thing? And I said, I don't really think that's me. And they said, well, even if it's just to come and learn some techniques. So that's what I did. And I remember holding up this top. I remember it vividly. It was animal print, of course. If you know me, it will be animal print. And it had red buttons down the back of it. And it was in like a stretched fabric. I remember looking at it and thinking, I actually can't believe I've just made an item of clothing. And that was it. That was it. And then I did lessons for quite some time. We kind of built up a bit of a social group, and the rest was history, really. Yeah. So I'm one of them. But it was very much a kind of a social thing. It was once a week on a Wednesday. I didn't get my machine out when I got home. That was the only time I had, because obviously I did have a very young child at the time. And then it wasn't really until lockdown, when I was bored, because I couldn't go out and do an awful lot, I thought, you know what, I might as well do a bit of sewing. But I'd always relied heavily on the group of people that I was with, my teacher. And so I think that's where my confidence grew, because then I was kind of on my own, and that was my thing. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then it's grown bigger and bigger, and now it's just a massive part of my life, and I can't imagine my life without it now. So yeah, a bit of a journey really over the last 12 years.
Have you still got that top that you first made?
No, have I? No. I was much thinner then. It won't fit me. Yeah, no chance now, but never mind.
Yeah, sometimes it's like there's a few things that I've made in the sort of beginning of my journey that I didn't keep, because I was if I got better, I was a little bit embarrassed about them. But now I wish I had.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's really good to kind of see how far you've come. That's quite interesting, really, because when I used to be in a very small box room. I mean, I've been lucky because I've always had like a room in the house, and I know a lot of people don't have that privilege. So I've been very lucky. But when I was clearing that room out to come into this bigger room, I found a work project folder that had some pajamas in it that I had made right at the beginning of my journey, but they were absolutely beautiful. They had piping, they had buttonholes already in them. All I had to do was put a cuff on them, and one other thing, I can't, maybe sew the buttons on. It was sew the buttons on, because I'd even done fabric covered buttons. And I remember thinking, wow, considering this is years later, and I would call myself much more experienced now than I was then, it shocked me actually how well I'd done back then. And I'd kind of forgotten really that maybe when I was a beginner, I was actually more adventurous than I thought I was, or giving myself credit for. So that was quite interesting, digging that out. Yeah.
I'd like to say I really regret like sort of either utilising some of my earlier makes for the hardware or donating them or what have you.
Yeah.
I kept a few of them just to sort of compare.
Yeah.
And especially the days when nothing's going right and you're really questioning your life choices.
Oh, yes.
Can I actually do this? To then get something out and see how far you've come.
Yeah. Because it really is a journey, isn't it? I think, it's the same with any hobby, I've no doubt. But when it's a skilled hobby, which I think, sewing is, I think it's really interesting that, how much you mature in your hobby and how experienced you become. And actually, things come to you quite naturally towards the end as you become more experienced. But you don't give yourself credit for that, because you don't see yourself. If someone said to me, where would you say you were beginner, intermediate experience, I'd probably be like, just hitting intermediate. But really, when I think about it, now I'm probably in between intermediate and further experience. But I think I have a tendency sometimes to doubt myself, and then I look at garments and I'm like, well, I managed to make that, so can't be that bad. Can it?
I do the same when I'm looking at bag patterns. I'm like, that says like experienced. I'm like, no, I'll stick with adventurous beginner. Like, Deb, get out your comfort zone a little bit.
I know, and comfort zone's it, isn't it? We all like to be in our own little bubble, but I prefer a much more complex make to a simple one. So I would much prefer to slow sew something more complicated that's going to keep me intrigued. You know, sometimes when you're making something and you're like, oh, I don't understand how this is going to work out, and then it does. That's kind of my vibe more than the quick, simple makes. I'm much more into learning something new, trying a different technique each time. I can be impatient as well, don't get me wrong, but
can't we all? And it's sometimes really good as well to trust the process, isn't it? Especially if you're doing a pattern that's
absolutely
a new designer, and you can be looking, and I think it's applicable whether it's dressmaking or bag making or, you know, quilting or anything like that.
Yeah.
You look at the pattern and you're like, well, how's that? That doesn't look like it's going to work, or it's maybe counterintuitive to how you would normally do it.
Yes.
So you're like,
yes.
No, I
but
just
the thing is,
it works.
If you skip that and you do your own thing, then you're never going to learn a different technique, are you? That's the thing for me. So I'm not a rule breaker, so I will do whatever the instructions tell me to do. Just like if I was to cook a meal, I wouldn't be one of those people that can throw all the ingredients in. I'm like, just tell me what to do and I will do it exactly like you tell me. Because then I can't be disappointed at the end of it, if you know what I mean. I mean, there's certain things that I will go off and do my own thing, but if I'm working with a new pattern designer or something like that, I will always do whatever they're telling me to do, because I think sometimes they may have a better idea than I have, or more experience in a certain technique, and try it once, and if you're not keen, you can do your own thing, can't you?
Yeah, I find I come unstuck sometimes, especially when I think I know what I know. So I'll be following something, and I've just literally found out today on a bag that I've made that I've totally put basically the gusset in the wrong way, and I was like, I wasn't the only one to do it, because I just kind of skipped ahead, and I was like, oh well, it'll go in this way, and I didn't read. Well, I thought I'd read the instructions, but I'd obviously read them in my head, not
or the way you would do them as well. I think that happens as you become more experienced as well. You know, you'll put things in its own order. You know, sometimes I'll look at a pattern and think, well, I don't understand why they're doing that. Now I'll do my own thing, and then I'll go back afterwards. I'll be like, oh, that's when I was. Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And it's not till later on, is it, that you kind of see. But I think sometimes you've just got to give respect to the pattern designers as well, because they've spent a long time doing that. They're, you know, normally quite experienced. You know, it's gone out to pattern testers, a lot of the patterns, haven't they? So to me, I kind of feel like I need to be respectful the first time, at least, in the fact that I need to follow the hard work that they've done so far to get to the end result. So that's how I kind of see it.
The bag that I've been making, it's literally sort of like in test and process at the moment. And when I'd made it, I was like, well, that's awkward to get into that bit. Well, it wouldn't have been if I'd read the pattern fully and then put the gusset in the right way. I mean, it's fine. It's still a functional item.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I've basically seen somebody else make the same mistake in the group, and then I'm like,
it's not just me.
That makes sense. Luckily, it wasn't just me.
Love it.
So when lockdown sort of ended, did you go back to your sewing class, or you more sort of learning on your
well, I might have done maybe one or two, but my sewing tutor got pregnant, and then she had 3 kids kind of on the bounce, so she kind of stopped doing it. But I remember in lockdown, kind of my confidence grew quite a bit because I was doing everything on my own. And I think when I was in the classes, I became reliant upon others and the teacher, and I wouldn't necessarily do things for myself because I was kind of like, well, there's support there, I'll just ask the question. Whereas I didn't have that facility when I was at home on my own in lockdown. It was just kind of like, get on with it. So my confidence grew quite a bit then anyway, but I definitely missed kind of the social side of it, because there used to be 8 of us every Wednesday that used to meet up. We all became, you know, really good friends. So I missed that element of it. And I remember in lockdown starting to watch YouTube videos and being like, wow, this is amazing. That was kind of like my connection to the outside world, really. And I remember saying to my work colleagues after we'd gone back into the office after lockdown saying, oh, you know, I'm watching all these YouTube videos and I might give it a go. And we were all having a bit of a laugh about it. So I remember one day I'd been to the shops and I'd bought a load of stuff. And I recorded a little video of me unpacking all these things and sent it to my work colleagues as a laugh. And they messaged back and they went, you were actually really, you ought to think about doing it. You were really good. And it had always been kind of a little bit of a joke. And then I remember thinking, well, why not? You could just give it a go. Because there wasn't that many vloggers out there 5-6 years ago. There wasn't that many really as there are now. I mean, there's loads of people now, which is fantastic because there's such a variety. And I remember just kind of sitting in front of my phone and thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing? And being really embarrassed, even though I was in a room on my own with my phone. That's all it was. But I was mortified. I remember like being really bright red in the cheeks and all my neck had flared up and laughing at myself. But then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to post it anyway, because what difference does it make? It was just as a little bit of connection, really. And then it's just, I think I was very lucky. My channel grew quite quickly, and that was mainly because other people coming out of lockdown that didn't want to socialise as much were using YouTube, you know, more than they had been doing. And there wasn't as many vloggers out there. So I think my channel grew quite quickly, which was lucky, really, the timings for me. But yeah, now I can't imagine not doing it.
Yeah. I was just literally having this conversation with Andy the other day about when you're recording, and I don't find it so much when I'm doing lives. I'm all right when I'm doing lives, but if I'm recording and I know I'm going to be editing it, I even hate anybody else being in the house.
Oh,
hear me, which is mad considering I'm then going to put it out on the internet.
I'm the same.
How
if my husband's in the same room, I will put the volume down to the lowest it can possibly be on because I'm embarrassed and I don't know why. And it's crazy, but I feel your pain because I'm exactly the same.
But I think a lot of people are, like, when you speak to people who do YouTube and, you know, record videos and stuff, and they'll say, it's really weird because if there's somebody in the next room, I don't want to record, even though I'm going to be putting this out on the World Wide Web.
I've definitely got a lot better at that now. I mean, the kids are used to me going, right, guys, I'm going to be vlogging, try and keep it down a minute, you know, and they'll come in and out. But I don't tend to edit an awful lot of my videos because I don't have a lot of time. I do it all on my phone. It's just literally get it out there. There's some things I'll edit. I'll put photographs in and things like that, or there'll be the odd time if I had someone's come to the door or something like that, or the window cleaners. That happens quite a lot. But other than that, I try to vlog all in one go as if I'm just having a chat with somebody, because then I don't have to do a lot of editing.
I think that as well, that's probably been instrumental in helping your channel grow, because I think then you come across as authentic. You know, people feel like they have a real connection because it isn't highly edited. It isn't sort of polished with, transitions and.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like watching those, but I always think, oh, they're really professional. Ooh. Yeah. That's very grown up, not for me.
That's for somebody who's not as time poor as me. And the way that I think about it is, if you spend a lot of time editing, that's less time that you can be sewing.
Absolutely. And I think that's a fine balance, isn't it, for someone who is doing, what we're doing, because, I have to work. I have 2 young children and a husband and other family commitments and friend commitments, social commitments, and I want to sew as well. But then obviously you're recording, you're editing, you're uploading, and I think maybe some people don't realise, if you've not done it before, because I certainly hadn't, I didn't realise the amount of time that took. Even things like trying to find links and putting them all in the description box. Sometimes if I've got like a plans video or a makes video, I'm like, oh, it takes me so long to do the description box. But I want to do it because I know if I skip one, someone will put, oh, where's the link for this? And I'm like, oh, I knew I'd forgotten something. So, and I know how handy it is when I'm watching something to be able to just go to the description box and click on a link. It's great. So, but there is obviously a lot that surrounds that as well.
Yeah, it is. And like I say, I think unless you've actually done it, you sort of don't realise,
Yeah.
you know, like say, like how
Yeah.
difficult it is, but how much fun it is
Absolutely.
as well.
I wouldn't be without it now. I can't believe how my life is so different now from doing it. I'm very lucky. I've met incredible people. I've got really good friendships. It's really strange actually, because you're kind of meeting people on the internet, aren't you? You're doing all the things that you think are a bit taboo, and you know, meeting people on the internet. If my eldest came to me and said I'm off to meet someone that I met on the internet, I'd be like, no, you're not.
Exactly. I would be exactly the same.
I'm off meeting people at sewing socials that I've never met before and doing all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Do you enjoy the online connection within the sewing community as much as what you enjoyed the in-person when you used to go to like the sewing classes?
Yeah, I would say, I think the thing with the online is I can reach a lot more people than I would ever have been able to. So, you know, I've struck up friendships with people all over the world, really, internationally, which is just incredible. Like I normally run a challenge in April with a lady, Gabrielle, who owns Cloth Edit in Australia. So she's literally on the other side of the world, yet we would organise a challenge together. I've never met her, but I would class her as a friend, you know, that type of thing. You know, quite a lot of business owners that I've become friendly with that I feel like I've never met them, but I would feel like if we were to meet up, it would just be like we've never not met before, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, obviously I love the in person, but the online is great because you can reach more people.
Yeah. And you've currently got a challenge going at the moment, haven't you? Are you involved with a challenge?
Yes.
So Frugal challenge?
It is, yeah. So we started that 5 years ago. It's myself and again someone who I met online called Sam, and she's got a channel called Frugalissima, and she's actually local to me. So she lives in the next town to me, and I didn't realise she's a vlogger as well. And then when we found out that we were local, we kind of said, should we do a collaboration together? And then as we were chatting online, we'd never met up in person. We kind of, because it was lockdown like times, we said, well, why don't we open it up to everybody then? You know, it'd be really nice to open it up. Let's see if anybody else wants to join in, if there's any other vloggers that want to join in. And it just escalated and escalated. And I think because it was in the lockdown period, loads of people joined in. It was really, really successful because everybody was at home and they were bored and they wanted that connection. So yeah, it started off with a big bang and it's continued to do so every year now. And this is the 5th year. So yeah, love doing it. It's a lot of work, but it's really, really good fun as well. Yeah, I love it.
And what is the whole premise of the challenge? You just want
so the premise of the challenge is all about sewing frugally. So my friend Sam is Frugalissima, and her channel is a lot about trying to sew frugally. So that's kind of how it came about. So basically you have to choose a free pattern. So it has to be one that's readily available to everybody. And the reason for that is because we wanted to make people aware of what's out there. So you don't have to pay a lot of money to sew if you don't want to. You can if you want to, obviously, but we wanted to open up people's eyes to online what you can get and new designers, etc. And also sometimes if a designer's offering a free pattern, it's a good way to trial them and their drafting and etc. You then have to use something from your stash, so it has to be something from your stash. But if you haven't got a stash, it could be anything. So it could be an old duvet that you've had, tablecloth, maybe a garment that you've already had and you can't stand it and you want to cut it up, you know, that sort of thing. You then make it in the month of March, and then on the 31st of March you post it on Instagram with the hashtag SewFrugal25, copy myself and Sam in, and on the 31st of March it's just amazing because my whole Instagram feed is just loads and loads of people with beautiful creations that have all been free. And then you have a chance to win loads of prizes, and we've got a lot of prizes. So, and we also have a vlogger tour as well. So we've got over 50 vloggers. So every day there's 1 or 2 vloggers that talk about in their inspiration. They'll go and find free patterns and recommend them and come up with different ideas as well for inspiration if people are a bit like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing or where to look. So yeah, it's a huge one. We had over 1,500 entries last year, so it was a
wow.
it was a very big challenge, but yeah, really good fun. I love doing it.
A busy few days for you afterwards as well.
Absolutely. And I go on holiday at the beginning of April, so I'm kind of like, right, we need to get this done so that I can go on holiday and relax for a week. So yeah, but I love running it every year. It's really good.
Yeah. I've just noticed there that Paul is saying that she's a rule follower and really struggles to adapt any patterns to add or change aspects that she loves from previous patterns. So I think you either fall in one or two camps, don't you? You either, you know, follow it to the T, or like,
wing it.
It's not so much that I wing it. I do usually follow a pattern the first time I make it, and then the second time I'm like, no, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to add this, and I'm going to leave this off, and I'm going to change this, and yeah.
I love that. I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Like, I've started recently looking, and when I see like images on my phone, say if it's on Instagram or Pinterest, or like an advertisement for something like ready to wear, or you know, like I saved a load of bag pictures the other day because I just absolutely love them. And I thought, oh, actually, I could adapt that to put piping along the bottom of it. And oh, I could do that and actually have like a shiny fabric and then a matte webbing. And so I've saved loads of pictures recently, particularly of bags, actually, to give myself some inspiration to do something a little bit different, if you know what I mean, rather than just the standard all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be scary though, can't it? Sort of like, will it work?
Yeah, I think you've got to be prepared for it to go wrong as well. And I think that's hard with us sewing people because we want everything that we make to be a success, don't we? That's just how we're built, isn't it? But I think if you're willing to experiment, you have to be willing to fail as well. And I think that sometimes that's where I fall down because I don't want to fail at any point. But to be creative, sometimes you've just got to give things a go. And sometimes it works in your favour and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. And I sometimes think as well, like if things don't go right, like it's, you know, whether it's just been a minor disaster or an absolute total disaster, you still take away learning experiences from that, don't you? And you still, you know, then understand why something didn't work, to either not do it in the future or to do it slightly differently in the future. Is
that your husband, grumpy at baptism?
Yeah.
Because he's just really
yeah.
We call it sat nag in our household.
Yeah. The reason as well, I think I should point out, if anybody's sort of coming into my channel for the first time because they follow you, we're not being really awful calling my husband grumpy. That is a self-proclaimed name. As many people who've met him in real life will probably come in and testify in the chat. He is not grumpy. He's the kindest, sweetest person ever. He just looks grumpy. He has resting face.
Oh, I do.
So yes, people think he's miserable, but well, he can be sometimes, but not in general. Just
he's listening to you now, though. Be careful.
Listen. He's just be like, oh, whatever. He's just probably hoping that you don't encourage me to go on a spending spree of some sort.
Who, me?
Yeah, but yeah. So I do always feel, if I know that I've got people coming in who don't normally follow me, going like, she's awful to her husband.
No, I like that. I thought that was quite funny. Look, listening. Yeah, understood.
Yeah. We've got Carla here saying, love both of you ladies, home from work with a back injury. Oh no, I hope you're okay. So happy to catch you, watching from southern Connecticut,
hey,
outside of New York City, which I do have to make a point of going, oh, I've been there.
Oh, I haven't. Oh, jealous. I'm so jealous.
Bit of a joke in our house when anything comes on the telly that is like New York or anything. Me and my daughter were like, we've been there. I
would love to go. I would love to go there. Yeah.
It was amazing. I went to Mood Fabrics as well.
Did you? Oh, I don't know how I'd cope in Mood Fabrics though, because there's so much, isn't there? I used to love it. Was it Project Catwalk? And they used to go to Mood Fabrics all the time. Yeah, I used to watch that program a while ago. And I used to think how do they choose what they want in such a short space of time? Because it's so vast, isn't it? Is it like that in real life, or is that just what I've seen on the telly?
No, it is. It's absolutely huge.
Oh, is it?
Huge. And like quite overwhelming as well, because you're sort of going, like, where do I start? And then they have like this sort of wall of like what they call notions, but like it had like lots of hardware, like for bag making and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
As well. So
right. Okay.
we were like,
I love the idea of it. That's all.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I'm not jealous of you, Carla, living so close to New York. So will you just saying to Andy, will you somebody called Russell, will you just kind of get rid of that comment? Or
Donna says something about Las Vegas.
Yeah. So I'm like that with Las Vegas, except
I got married in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I've never been, but
I love it. I've been once to a wedding there years and years ago with my friend, and then myself got married there as well. 14 years ago, I think now. However many years ago, a lot of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Was there many fabric shops? Although it was probably before you were sewing, though, wasn't it? So you would.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, before kids was even a thing. Mm-hmm. When I used to think I didn't have any time, but I had so much time. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway.
What did we do with it all?
No idea. I would love to go back to myself before and ask myself that very same question.
Yes. Do you, when you're going away, because we've already mentioned the H word, which you'll have seen in the comments, or no, the H word has been mentioned, which is holiday, because I'm going on holiday in a couple of weeks' time. So it's become a little bit of a joke, like that holiday. I am, shockingly, I don't talk about it much. But I don't know if you're like I am, but I always have a quick scout of roundabout to see if there's any sort of fabric.
Oh yes, I go. I travel a little bit with work as well in my job, and we go to an exhibition in Germany every year. And last year when we went, I was like, oh, I had like 3 or 4 hours spare, which I never have when I go there. And I was like, straight away, Google is my friend. And I went to 3 fabric shops when I was there, and then I was ramming stuff into my suitcase to try and bring it back because I only had hand luggage. And then I remember taking it back instead and put it on with fabric in it and everything. And now, honestly, but yeah, I love looking at different fabric places in different countries. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I went to Madeira a couple of years ago, and in Madeira.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't really get the chance to sort of have a look around any of the fabric shops. So I'd love to go back. I mean, I'd love to go back anyway because it's a lovely place. But yeah, some of the fabric shops over there are meant to be.
Mm-hmm. I go on holiday soon as well. So I go on holiday next month, and we're going to Turkey. And obviously there are fabric shops in Turkey, but I've already had a look. There's nothing where we're going.
That's where we're going. We're going to Turkey as well.
Oh yeah, lovely.
But I've had a look, and there might be a few.
Oh, we'll soon find out, won't we? When you come back with loads of fabric and you're trying to take out all your suntan lotions because you're like, I don't need those. Let's get some fabric instead.
I'd be like, Andy, you don't need all of this stuff to go back, do you?
Be like that with his dirty socks and stuff. It's fine. Just chuck them in the bin. Be fine.
Yeah. Andy's saying, shh. I don't take much encouragement. He knows this about me already.
Oh, I love it.
You've actually been de-stashing quite a bit though, haven't you?
I have, yes. And that's because I have not de-stashed since I started buying fabric. Mm-hmm. So my fabric collection was somewhat questionable at some points. I bought a lot of fabrics at a very early stage where I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with them. I think when I first started, I thought I could make something in a very small amount of fabric. Soon realised I couldn't. I bought fabrics that weren't the type of fabric that I like. So yeah, I decided to have a really good go over everything. I've still got this I'm trying, my camera's the wrong way around. This box here, that's all stuff to destash. I wanted to kind of do one big lot, clear it all out, because I've got a much more clearer defined idea of what I like and what I don't now. Because I think sometimes you can get a little bit overwhelmed, can't you? And then that stops. It's a creativity blocker sometimes. So yeah,
100%.
I've done a big clear out, and it feels a lot better. And I'm much more cognizant of what I'm choosing now going forward. So I've actually only bought 2 fabrics so far this year.
Wow.
I know, which is pretty good for me.
You're better than me. I've got 2 sitting behind here that need to get put away.
I mean, I am very lucky. I do have subscription boxes as well, and I do have fabric coming in from other areas and things like that. So I do have more than that coming. But from a purchasing point of view, I'm trying to curb that. I used to very much, particularly in lockdown, buy loads of fabric because I had money sat there that I wasn't spending on other things, and I wanted something that would bring me joy at the time. And then, you know, fast forward 4 or 5 years on, and I'm sat there looking at it thinking, I don't really know why I bought that.
Yeah. It was like when me and Andy first met, I was trying to explain to him that sewing is one hobby and fabric collecting is another hobby.
It so is.
Sometimes they overlap and sometimes they don't.
I love looking online.
Sometimes you have something so precious that you just love so much that it can be a little bit scary to cut into.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to change my attitude around that, actually, because fabric is fabric. There's always going to be more fabric. And my problem, I do have what I would call some precious fabrics. And there was a challenge that was brought into the Instagram community last year called So Precious, something like that. And that was a really good opportunity because you had to sew up one of your fabrics that was very precious. And I'm so glad I did, because I had a particular fabric that I loved and it had just been sat there for so long. And I've made it up and I absolutely love it. And I'm glad, because otherwise it's going to sit here, isn't it? And do nothing. So yeah, get it sewn up, I say.
Yeah, it can just be hard, can't it, to sort of like, will I get the pattern right? Will it come out of my head? Will it come out in real life how it is in my head? And
I don't tend to risk any of my precious fabrics unless it's something I've already made. That's kind of my little security blanket. At least you know you like whatever that is, you know, whether it's a bag, a garment, whatever. At least you kind of know that it's right for you, and then hopefully your vision will be okay with that particular fabric. But sometimes, you know, you can make something in a different fabric and be like, oh, don't really like that on me, whereas I loved the other version. So sometimes it happens, but you can buy more fabric, can't you? And it's a good excuse to buy more fabric for me.
Yes, 100%. And you will definitely be like, stop it. I'll be like, what's our plans for today? And he's like, I'm not sure, but I'm sure you're going to tell me. And I'm sure go looking at something fabric or sewing related. Or it involves cake.
Yeah. Oh, that as well. Yeah. I'm here with you. I feel like you're twin then.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I've obviously seen on your channel in a few videos that you have sort of delved into doing some bag making.
I love bag making now. I mean, I haven't done anything really difficult, just putting that caveat there now, but I didn't realize the joy bag making would bring to me. I absolutely love doing it now. So much so I've literally just finished one. I've already got another one planned. Like I said to you the other night, I was saving all these photos from all this inspiration I'd seen, and now I want to wear bags like I wear garments. A different one all the time. But I would like to get a bit more adventurous in my bag making. I think that is something that I need to have a look at, progressing my skills on some bags. I've kind of gone a bit safe to start off with, but I think that's fair enough, isn't it? I think most people do. But yeah, I'd like to maybe look at some, more complex makes for sure.
Yeah, because you've used some of the kits from First for Fabrics, which I think one of them I saw was was it a noodle head backpack?
It was. I've got it here actually. It was one I made earlier. This is my little. Sorry, it's a bit creased because I do use it a lot. But yeah, I think bag kits are really good if you are starting in something, because I didn't have much of a bag stash. Now I've just seen that Emma's joined. Now Emma's helped me with her bag making kits. Well, like, you know, the subscription boxes, because they're not really kits, are they? But I've got a much better bag stash now because of Emma. But I think, yeah, when you're first starting out, you can't go wrong with a kit. I think it's fantastic. I think I was shocked when I first started making bags that a lot of them don't have pattern pieces.
Yes.
I was a bit like, oh, I don't understand this. What's happening? Because I've been a garment maker for so long, and obviously everything is on a pattern piece. So that was a bit of a shock to start off with. But I actually really enjoyed the slow process of that, you know, measuring it all out and being very precise. I don't know, there was something about it that I really liked. But yeah, I made this buckthorn. Is it buckthorn, isn't it? And I absolutely,
yes.
I absolutely love it. And I've also made my mum one as well. So she went to New Zealand for a month in January. So I made her one. I let her choose the fabrics. I let her choose, and then I made up exactly the same one for her, and she absolutely loves it, which is nice. But I also made from another kit, I think it's the Pepin tote as well. I've brought that up just to show. So that was a First for Fabrics kit as well.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that fabric.
It's so nice, isn't it? I mean, the light in here is not doing it justice because it's like a really bright pop of red. And I didn't really quilt it, but I kind of top stitched around all of the panels to make it. It's got wadding in it. But yeah, I use this every day for work. I absolutely love it. So, I mean, then that was such a quick sew, obviously a tote bag, but I'd never kind of quilted or put wadding in anything before this. So, and I love the look of that. So I'd definitely do that again. But yeah, they were both kits. And I do have one other kit that I haven't made yet, which is here. And that's the Purple Stitches one from Jenny Stitches. And that is another noodle head one. That is, let me have a look, the Oxbow tote. So,
oh, yes.
Yes.
That's a beautiful bag.
Yeah, that's the next one I want to make. And the fabric is absolutely beautiful. It's very kind of, you find it Ted Baker-esque.
Oh, that's right up my street.
Sorry, I can't work out where my camera is.
Green and leafy print, and yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, like I say, the camera's not doing it much justice, to be honest. It's in real life, it's stunning. So I've had that for a while, but I've no other kits now. This is my only one left. So that's what I want to try and work on next in my bag making, if I don't make another bestie bag.
I was just going to say, Sue was asking in the chat. I've lost it now. There, have you made any more bestie bags?
So I made 3 for my friends. So myself and 3 of my friends would get together every year, and I try to always make them a little something. And I decided to make them a bestie bag each this year. So I made them all an individual one. I use one every day, which is here. I thought I'd quickly show you it, which is made up of some Fabric Godmother puffer fabric. Oh,
that's fab.
And I absolutely love it. I wore that to work today with what I'm wearing today, and I looked ridiculous, but I didn't care. Yeah, and then this is my latest one that I've made. I've just finished. Needs a bit of a press. It looks all squashed. Look, bless it. It needs some stuff in it to it's shiny gold. I mean, you're going to see me coming in it anyway, but I absolutely,
I'm so the shirt.
I love it so much. But yeah, that's the thing though. I constantly then think, what could be my next one? Where I was kind of like, I don't think I'd wear this every day as such, but be nice for the odd special occasion. But I maybe need to make a plain, more subtle one that'll go with everything.
Why no? Just
Oh, we'll see. So yeah, I have been dabbling in bag making, and I have been absolutely loving it. So I'm ready to kind of take on the oxbow toe and then start exploring what I want to do next. Because although I love the bestie bag and it's a really lovely sew, I want to kind of explore different ones as well.
Yeah. My husband's saying I might have a few videos you can watch, laughy face.
I will be doing, don't you worry.
And I do actually have a video that shows, I think it's 15 free patterns.
Right, okay.
Patterns. So just going back to what you were saying about the Frugal, and I totally agree with you as well about how great free patterns are, because obviously for somebody who might be going from garment making or quilting, whatever, into bag making, it's a really good way to sort of dip your toes in.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way to find, what you said before, new designers that you might not have come across before. It's an inexpensive way to see whether you like their style of pattern writing and instructions and what have you, or recipes as I sometimes call them. But yeah, so there is that on my channel. Go and check it out.
I will, don't you worry. We'll do it now. That's it. You might regret saying that.
But, I mean, you've got an amazing stash as well of bag making stuff that's come from Emma.
Absolutely. And I think, the thing with bag making, particularly for me, because I'm a garment maker as well, is it's really good with the smaller offcuts of fabric. Mm-hmm. So, when you sat on fabrics in your stash and you've bought a certain amount and then you come to make something and it's not going to use up, say a full 3 meters and you've got half a meter left, or potentially, 3/4. For me, that's been absolutely brilliant, because then I'm like, right, I'm going to make a bag out of that then, because why not? And then I don't sit on the guilt of having this small scrap of fabric that I can't make another garment out of, but then I feel guilty getting rid of it. So for me, bag making is perfect for that as well, because you can use much smaller cuts of fabric on a lot of them. So yeah, it's a win-win situation, that one.
And do you find, with sort of delving into a little bit of bag making now, that some of the techniques that you've sort of built up through garment making have helped, but has some of the techniques that you've then discovered through bag making transferred over into your garment making?
I think even though I've been sewing for a long time, I've always been scared of zips. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And for example, on the bestie bag, it's got the 2 little tabs on the end of the zips. So this is just a recent example. So this little bit, sorry, the light's shining here. Now, I've just made the Aspen dress by Fabric Godmother, and it has a zip in it on the bodice, and then you attach a gathered skirt. And the zip was a nightmare because it was a metal zip. I've never shortened a metal zip before. And I tried my very best, but made a bit of a bodge of it. I'm not going to lie, but it actually looked all right, and it all came out absolutely fine. But the other day I was thinking to myself, I could do very similar to this, and I could just put a tab end on it at the bottom, and then I can sew straight over that in my seam allowance, and it won't show anything bad. So I'll just go for a shorter zip, put a tab on it, and if you see a little bit of it, you see a little bit of it. I wouldn't be bothered with that. So like little things like that, from a construction point of view, I'm thinking, I'm going to transfer that over to my garment making. So yeah, that's just one example.
And then you're not sewing that zip into the seam as well, which reduces the bulk, so the seam sits nicer.
Absolutely.
Emma's just saying there, and there's more women to you.
Yay!
And
I get very excited when they arrive on my doorstep.
I've just literally seen it click up on my phone, which is why my eyes went, oh, I've just gotten my email to say mine is on its way.
Hey, yay! I do love that. I love anything like that, and I think what's lovely about Emma's boxes is, if you're not primarily a bag maker, I don't have the knowledge of a lot of those, a lot of the notions, a lot of the hardware, that type of thing. So for me, it's been quite educational as well, getting the box, because then I'm seeing everything. So my next challenge for me is to start using continuous zippers, because I've got some beautiful ones from Emma now. And, you know, even in dressmaking, for the Aspen dress, for example, would have been so much easier to use one of those. I've always just been scared of it, but I'm like, I really need to tackle myself with that next, because I know everybody that I speak to that's then started to handle continuous zips has just said it's a game changer. So that's my next thing, Emma. You can hold me accountable.
Melanie's asking as well. Oh no, it wasn't that one I wanted to ask you. It was, I can't see where it's gone. Oh, there. What's your favourite zip pull out of the bag makers box that you've got? She says she loves the B one.
The B one is absolutely stunning, I have to say. But I think for me, it's the coloured pink and purple ones. Even though they're really plain and simple, I just think they're so eye-catching. So I think, did Emma do, was it purple in one, and then in the last one she brought the pink out? And yeah, I just think they're beautiful. I think that's the thing, isn't it, where you buy a normal zip and they're a bit boring, aren't they? So I love the idea of the beautiful zipper pulls, and I just think it's an added extra on a bag as well, particularly because I know I've just been using normal zips on those, and I've been thinking, you know what, I wouldn't mind getting like a little bag charm or something to put on. And that's the other reason I want to use the continuous zips, is so that I can use all the beautiful hardware as well that Emma's been putting in the boxes, because they're so much nicer, aren't they?
Yeah. And Sue's saying there, a plain one wouldn't be you, Ruan, which I think is no,
I wouldn't. I know. I mean, that gold one's plain though, isn't it, really? Or we're supposed to call it solid, not plain. That's it, solid. But it's quite out there, isn't it?
And Sheila's saying she's made the crossbow tote, and thanks to a webbing swap, managed to have a big shoulder strap too.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Does it not have a big strap?
Me and Sheila swapped some webbing so that I could finish a bag and she could finish a bag.
Got you.
In the bag maker box.
I think I'm lucky because the webbing is black on the kit that I've got for this, so to buy some extra webbing would be absolutely fine. So yeah, good point that, because it is nice, isn't it, if you've got a bit of weight in it, to have it over your shoulder as well.
Yeah. Well, Emma's going to be at Stitch Festival as well.
I know, can't wait.
Are you going to Stitch Festival?
Oh yes, I am. Love it. I went last year for the first time, and I'm addicted. I love that show. So good.
Well, that was my first sort of ever sewing event. Even though I've been sewing a long time, I'd never sort of been to any. So I actually went down to help Emma on her stand.
Oh, I've never seen Melanie, but I don't think I saw you then when we were there.
You might have been there at the weekend. I left on the Friday.
I was there on the Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went down on the Wednesday, helped her sort of get all set up. Yeah. And then up till the Friday, and that was the first time me and Emma had actually met in real life. It was a really, really fun few days. But it absolutely, totally ignited my sewing festival event.
It's a really, I mean, it's my favourite one. Yeah, it's a really good one, the Stitch Festival. But last time we went on the Saturday, and it was such a full-on day, because obviously when I'm there, I want to chat to everybody as well. And there's a lot of people coming up to me and chatting. And so by the time we'd finished the day, I was absolutely exhausted. I'd nearly lost my voice, because obviously I'm like this all the time. But also I didn't get to see as much of it as I wanted to see, because I was spending so much time chatting to everybody. So this year we're hoping to do half a day on the Friday. So we're going to travel down Friday morning, do half a day on the Friday, and then we'll be there on the Saturday as well, so that we've just got that little bit of extra time, because I'm also doing the catwalk on the Saturday. So that's going to take up a bit of time as well out of the day. So kind of thought, if we're only going to be there for one day, and then I'm doing that, which is going to take up between an hour and a half from beginning to end, really, getting there, prepping, and then afterwards. It was kind of like, let's try and add a little bit extra on, and then we've got more time to dedicate to everything. And I think sometimes you can be a bit overwhelmed as well with it all, can't you, to start off with? Whereas I'll know more what to expect.
just like I want all things. Yeah. But obviously Emma has a stand again at Stitch Festival. So if anybody's loving any of the goodies that they've had in a bag maker's box, if she's got extras, she'll have them with her.
And she's got some beautiful webbing and zips and things I saw on her stories the other day as well.
Yeah, and Emma's saying, feel free to come by at Stitch Festival and she'll show you how to put on.
Brilliant, that's a deal. Thank you, Emma. I've seen these like little gadgets that you can buy. I haven't actually invested in one yet, where you can kind of put things on and I wonder if I need something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I've just noticed a comment there. Andy's saying we're being bombarded by spam comments. We've never had this happen before.
It must be me. I must have tracked it.
No, it's probably because on one of the, I think I was saying you when we were chatting just before, it was probably because of a chat that was brought up in a previous one. They're all like, "Oh, Frank the Foot Guy," so let's just bombard. So yes, Andy Blessham's earning his keep today. But I think you were saying that certain words might be getting flagged by YouTube, so he's physically checking them.
Bless him.
So I didn't see the comment that this relates to, but Adele says you'll be Ryan. I'm not sure who Ryan is because
That's me.
No, it's me.
Yeah, I get it all the time. Even when I type, I write Ryan, but autocorrect changes it.
I've just twigged as I said it. I was like, I didn't see a comment.
Oh no, it happens all the time. Even I write it on my own, so don't worry.
She's saying you'll be looking to purchase an industrial sewing machine.
I would love to. When I see other people's, I'm so jealous. I am so jealous. And I have thought about it. I've looked at them, don't get me wrong. But it's space at the moment. I mean, I don't have a small room by any stretch of the imagination, but to bring another machine in, an industrial one in particular, normally comes with a desk and everything, doesn't it? I would have to really think about how I want to change my room up to fit that in. But when I see other people, particularly working on Jukies, because I've actually got a Juki machine as well, I'm always like, oh, that just looks like it's going through it like it's butter, you know. But I am lucky because my previous machine wouldn't go through a lot of thick layers, whereas my Juki now can do quite a substantial amount, which is brilliant.
They're really powerful machines, aren't they?
Yeah. But you never know. Never say never.
Melanie's asking that you're both doing the fabric godmother catwalk. Are you nervous?
Oh, brilliant. I think I was really cocky. And now I'm like, why have I done this to myself? I think reality's starting to hit a little bit. But yeah, I am really nervous, Melanie. I'm like, why did I do this? Why didn't I just sit in the audience and watch everybody else instead of having to get involved? But luckily, we'll only be on for seconds, won't we? That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm very nervous, actually.
Oh, it'd be fab though once you do it. I'm sure it'd be one of those things that you sort of maybe just before you go on, regretting your life choices.
Yeah.
But once it's done, you'll be like, I'm so pleased I did that.
Exactly. And you know, I'm really proud of what I've made. So you know, and it is ultimately to show off the garments, isn't it? So and I'm proud of what I made. So I am quite happy to show it off. It's just I'd much prefer it to just be on a hanger without me in it.
Or somebody else doing the awkward part.
But I'm really looking forward to Stitch Festival. It's great. It's a great festival. It's a great show, isn't it?
Yeah. Andy's saying you don't change every other week anyway, which is in reference to me changing my sewing room around all of the time.
Oh dear.
Yes. Well, I'm saying I direct Andy.
We.
Well, and I supervise. But obviously I sew with a jack, which is very similar to a Juki. It's basically like a copy of a Juki. So I can be quite limited in how I have things set up because this isn't a table. So it can sometimes make I think, oh, I want this here, and then I'm like, no, it won't work, because then
That's
that won't
it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like you. I have a dedicated sewing room. I'm very lucky. I'm very privileged. So I do have the space to make it work. I've just got to make it work a certain way.
That's it, I think, and you can work in a space for a certain amount of time, and then it's suddenly you just think, no, this just isn't actually working right for me now. I've got mine to a place where I really spent a lot of time considering it before I came into this room, how I used my old room, then how I wanted to use this room, and I'm very happy. Kind of, I haven't, luckily, touch wood, I've probably jinxed myself now, had to change it up much. I mean, obviously, I'd have to if I got an industrial machine though, obviously, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Ruan's saying you wouldn't regret it. She's a Jack fan like me.
Right. I've never heard of Jack.
Yeah, so it's very, very similar to a Juki 181N.
Right.
So all the parts fit the same.
Got you. Okay.
It's a lot cheaper. We've got Muriel joining us from Florida as well. We're truly international this evening. So yeah. Oh, Tracy's saying she's just bought a vintage Singer too.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of us who make bags sort of using like vintage machines, usually before we then go on to industrial machines, because it can be.
I love them just to look at even. They're just stunning. I was walking with my children past school a while ago, quite a few months ago, and there was a vintage Singer outside someone's house, and I think they were it was there for someone to take, but you know when you don't have the guts to take it in case they ring the police because you're actually nicking something.
I'd have been knocking on the door, me. Are you not wanting that?
I honestly think about it every time I walk past it now, and I'm like, why didn't you do that? Even if it was just to have it as a decoration somewhere, because it was beautiful. And I regret it to this day. So I will never let that opportunity pass me by again if that ever happens to me again.
We'll pray and keep our fingers crossed.
Please do.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been knocking on the door saying, "Do you not want that?" Because
I have.
And then Andy would be like, "Where we're going to put another one?"
And you'll be like, "I don't care. It's just coming in." My machine, I think someone was asking Donna, is a DX7 Juki. That's my machine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Donna's got the sort of like the semi-industrial one.
Yeah.
Semi-industrial Juki, which is similar to a HD Janome HD9, which
that's right. Yeah. So I went to a show and the Juki man got me basically. I was fed up with my machine at the time. I'd had it for a number of years and I just couldn't go through layers with it, and I was getting frustrated with it. Other than that, there was nothing wrong with it, to be fair. But when he showed me a demonstration of it, and I'd done a lot of research, an awful lot of research, and I really fancied something that was kind of in between the industrial and domestic from a function point of view. And I don't regret it to this day.
Yeah, I know. It's like I sort of hummed and hawed for ages about the industrial.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're an expense, aren't they? So, yeah.
I was lucky at the time. I had somewhere to sort of go that was near to me, that had them all, so I could test them, try them.
Yeah.
They're not sort of doing sewing machines anymore. So I'm very lucky that I got it when I did, and it was the engineer who worked for them was just so knowledgeable. So
it's
I knew
brilliant,
when
isn't it? Yeah.
I love it.
I have a bit of a funny story about mine. So I went to the Creative Craft Show in NEC in Birmingham, and I'd been thinking about the Juki for a number of months, almost a year. I'd done a lot of research. I'd saved up a lot of money as well, but I just wasn't ready to take that next step. And I'd been looking at them and they were on offer, and I was like, no, do you know what? Maybe now's just not the time. Maybe next time. And I remember going and buying a ring from this stall. You know, when they have a random stall that sells jewellery in a craft thing, and you're like, oh, that's a bit random. And I loved this ring. And half an hour later, I looked down and I'd lost it. So I had a little bag with a ring in it. It was only £40. But I have really big, chunky sausage fingers. So getting a ring is quite hard for me, yeah. And I could not find this ring anywhere, and I must have put the bag down while I was looking at fabric maybe, and then it had gone. I was absolutely fizzing. I was so angry, and I went and sat down. I think I'd gone with my mum and a friend. We sat having a drink, and I was like, I'm just so annoyed at myself. And my mum was saying to me, don't beat yourself up. It's not the end of the world. You know, we'll just go and get another one. I said, but it's the only one that fitted me. And I tried literally everyone on the stand on. I'd been there for about an hour. I was so angry. And I said to my mum, just give me a minute. And I went straight over to the Dukey stand and I was like, give me that machine. And my mum was like, let me get this right. So you've lost a £40 ring and you've gone and bought a £1,500 machine. I was like, yes, I have. And I thought, no, because I expected to take it away with me that day, and they were like, "No, we'll deliver it to you. It'll be there in a couple of days." Love. I was like, "Oh right, okay." No,
that's where the impatient bit comes in. I think we're all like that though. When we make a decision that we're going to, get a new sewing machine or something like that. Once we've made the decision, we want it, and we want it yesterday because we want to be sewing on it. Because we want all of those problems eliminating.
I'd done my research and I'd saved the money up. So it was, do you know what I mean? If I hadn't have had the money and I'd not done my research, I wouldn't have been so rash, I don't think, because I'd have been thinking, no, I really want to do a little bit more research. I want to see what will actually suit me. But I'd done all that research. So it was kind of like, what are you actually waiting for? So it took me to lose a ring to tip me over the edge.
I mean, the semi-industrial machines, sort of like the Dukey type and the Janome and what have you, they do run to a lot of money. You are talking well over £1,000. And just like Donna's saying there in the chat, like sometimes an industrial machine is half or a third of the price of some of them. It's just you can be limited with your space with them. And obviously they're usually just straight stitch only and that sort of thing. But when you're spending that sort of money, you do really want a sort of...
You want to get it right.
100%.
It's an investment, isn't it, at the end of the day? You wouldn't go and spend that amount of money on something else without kind of knowing what you were doing, really. But sometimes it's a bit of a leap of faith as well. I went from a brother machine that was maybe £250 to a machine that was £1,500. And, it took me a long time, over a year, to think about it, save up, the full works. But the amount of sewing I do now, I don't regret. It's paid for itself time and time over already. So I don't regret it at all. I've got a very supportive husband as well, who's just like, you go do what you want to do, love.
Andy's very much like that. Like I'll sort of, what do you think? And he'll go, well, what I think is kind of irrelevant because you do what you want to do anyway. But it's your money, and it's like Donna's just said there, life's too short. Have what you'll use, what you love, and what you want. So I'm very lucky too. I've got very supportive, especially when I want to change my sewing room round.
I like the fact that you're trying to butter him up now because he's listening to all of this.
No, he knows. I've got plans in here because I want to have a major change around, but I need to get some things sorted before it can happen. But I just keep talking about it every now and then. So like when we change the sewing room round, and he's like, when I change the sewing room,
the royal we.
Definitely.
My husband built my this is a cutting table. He built all of that out. Like I gave him the Pinterest picture and went, will you make this for me, please? And he did that, and it's like the best thing that I've got in my sewing room other than my machine. I absolutely love it.
Amazing, aren't they? I've got a big one in the garage. It's like 1.5 meters by 1 meter, and it's just, and it's the same, being built with Kallax units. Andy will be having flashbacks.
Because I'm like wheels, so I can wheel it out if I want to, and oh gosh, fantastic. I wouldn't be without it now. I'm so lucky to have it because I can like cut one project out at a time and then sew, whereas before, because I was doing it on the dining table, I'd have to take everything down, and I'm a rotary cutter girl as well, so I'd have to take a massive cutting board down with me, and then I'd be hunched over because I'm quite tall and my back would be killing, but I'd think, well, I might as well cut 2 or 3 projects out while I'm down here. Whereas I don't have to do any of that now, which is amazing.
It's those things, isn't it, that I think once you've been sewing a little while, that then you can plan out sort of, even if it is sort of like it's not a dedicated room if you've got like a sort of space that you can like leave set up.
Oh, yeah.
Once you've been sewing a little while, you can kind of think of it, plan it out, and how it's best going to work.
Yeah. And you can also just shut the door, can't you? And not tidy up if you don't want to.
It was like when I took up, because this was originally our living room.
Right.
So we had a dining room and a living room. And I was like, well, I've been thinking, it's usually my thing. I've been thinking.
What do you think of this?
How about changing the living room over into the dining room, and then me having, because I used to have like a studio, like a work studio, which I gave up because the rent was going ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was like if it's in here, the doors can be shut, you know. Obviously the dining room had sort of like the stairs in it, and you know, and I was like, if I'm recording, nobody will be able to come down.
Yeah.
You know, I really had good arguments for, and yeah, it was like that.
I was quite lucky because I was in the box room. So I've got 2 boys, but they share a room. They wanted to share a room. And this was like our spare room. And my husband just said to me one day when we were on holiday, why don't we move you out of that tiny room into the spare room? And I said, well, because, you know, it's there for when people come over. And he's like, yeah, but how often does somebody come over in the year? You're in that tiny, tiny room, like all the time. Like, get yourself out, get into a bigger room, and we'll just deal with the situation if people stay over. It's not the end of the world, and which we have done. And I don't regret it at all, but it was kind of his idea for me to come into a bigger room. So I am very lucky.
You're like, okay, then.
Go on, then. I'm like a spoiled little girl.
me and you both. I sometimes sort of like have to rein myself in sometimes, and I'm like, oh, like, you know, this isn't working, or that's not working, or, you know, this could be better. And then I'm like, right, Deb, sort yourself out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I could have a room that was 3 times this size, I would go for it. But I think, you know, my husband was kind of saying, look, you know, you're doing a lot of vlogging, you're doing a lot of sewing, you know, you're dedicating a lot of your spare time now to your hobby. So you would be better suited to having more space. It would be a lot easier for you, less cluttered. You know, I can have a cutting table in here, which obviously couldn't there. So yeah, it's about using the space in your house that best suits your lifestyle, really, not necessarily what's traditional to have, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. I know, it's like, obviously because Neve's at uni, but obviously still has her room here, because obviously she still spends quite a bit of time here. But then just like, I'm going to come home one day, aren't I? And there's just, you'll have took over that room as well. I'm like, maybe.
You're like, absolutely. I'm not even going to deny it.
Might happen. No, might. Bless her heart.
No.
So what's your next sort of projects that you've got lined up that you want to get done, either channel wise or sewing?
Yeah, so I have to make something for my Sew Frugal challenge, because obviously I'm hosting it, so I need to do something for that. So I need to, I think, because I'm going on holiday next month, I'm going to make something summery, which will be really nice. And then from a bag perspective, it is going to be the Oxbow tote kit, because I don't like buying things and then them sitting around for long. So I want to get that done. But then, like I said, I have saved a couple of images of a really nice tote bag that I like, and an image of another kind of like a bestie bag, but that I could adapt. So they might sneak in there as well, I suppose. From a garment perspective, at the moment, I'm making a lovely shacket, which is from a subscription box.
Is that the Sew Confident one?
It is. Yes. So Confident. So it's my first one, and it's sewing up lovely. So I'm just doing that at the moment. I'm looking over here because it's on my mannequin. And then I've got a couple of projects that I am doing. So I also have another YouTube channel with 2 of my friends called the Northern Soul Sisters. And they are both, so they're both vloggers that I met over the internet. And then we met up one day and we struck up a very strong friendship, which is about 3 years ago now. And then the 3 of us have set up a YouTube channel together where we'll have one fabric and make 3 different things with it, or, you know, we will challenge each other to make a certain thing, or we will highlight a certain pattern designer, that type of thing. The three of us all together, because I think those, particularly in the garment sewing world, there's not many channels now where there's more than one person. There used to be quite a few, and they've all kind of drifted off. So we thought there was a bit of a gap for us to do that. So I have some commitments to go with that, as well as my own channel and the challenge and things. So it never
busy
stops.
time as well as squeezing in a holiday.
That can
keeping
always
it
be
real.
done, can't it? That can always be done.
Yeah. Dawn's asking, is Sew Frugal for clothing only, or can
It is.
people use bag? Can people use bag patterns?
Unfortunately not. It is something that we are considering, though, in the future. We have been sort of having a little bit of a chat about it, because what we're trying to do is make it as inclusive as possible. And I know a lot of bag makers don't make garments, and vice versa. So it is something that we're going to have a look at potentially for the future. But at this moment in time, it's just garment making, yeah.
No problem. And Donna says, not like me and having things hanging around. Her scan and cut lived in a box for 4 years before she started using it.
Oh, I think we've all been there, though, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. I think that comes down to a lot to sometimes to fear of actually learning something new and trying something new.
I do, and I think sometimes it's time consuming when you're learning something new, and I've got a simplicity bias maker sat here, and I think I've only used it once, because I'm like, it's a second-hand one, it needs a little bit of tinkering with, but I think the more you use something, the more it's easier to use as such. But it's just finding that time. I think anytime you're doing something new, or you've got a new piece of equipment, it's very time consuming, and you could be sometimes doing something that you think is more productive if you're short of time, when really I think we should probably, I need to test myself more and explore new things. But I've got to be patient then, and know that I'm not going to have as much time to create something at the same time. So yeah, it's a hard balance, isn't it?
Yeah. It leads me perfectly on to what I usually like to sort of like wrap up with and ask people is, what is your favourite sewing tool? What is the sewing tool that's in your arsenal that you just can't live without?
Oh, I don't know if I can choose one.
Can
I choose two?
Yeah, of course you can.
My snips, I can't live without those, without a doubt. My, whatever they're called, I think they're called a purple fang or something like that, aren't they? I use that all the time. It's a bit like an awl, or whatever you call it. I'm still going. A seam gauge, I use that all the time, and also a hot hammer.
Yes.
They're my things that I would say, they're the things that I use, I would say, every time I make something. I've got lots of other things, like I love a clapper for seams, I love all that sort of thing as well. But the things that I use the most, I use my snips the most, probably followed by this little tiny piece of plastic. But it's so much. I use it as a point turner, I use it as an awl to help. Like they're just great, aren't they?
Yeah.
And obviously a pin cushion, because I'm a
can have too many pins. In a bag space.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got clips and things like that as well, but from a garment perspective, I'm definitely a pin person rather than a clip person. But yeah, they would be my favourite tools. Sorry, I couldn't do one.
No, that's fine. To be fair, if somebody asked me that question, I'd be like, oh, and it would just be all of this stuff that would come into that.
It's hard, isn't it? It is hard. And I think as well, as you buy more, gadgets as such, you realise some, not for me, but others you can't really live without. I mean, really, I can't live without a seam ripper either, to be fair, but that's just tucked away in a drawer. I don't let that see the light of day unless it has.
You're hoping it stays in the drawer. If you leave it out, it's tempting fate.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. It sounds like you're going to have a really busy sort of few months, and there'll be kind of lots of exciting things to sort of see either on Instagram or if you're on your YouTube channel.
But you'll have to, you guys are all bag experts, so you'll have to let me know what you think the next step is for me as a bag maker now that I've kind of dipped my toe a little bit. What would you kind of recommend for me as well, as in, not necessarily something that's incredibly complex, but something that would maybe stretch me a little bit, then I'd be all open to that.
I think definitely sort of delving into all your goodies that you've collected from the bag makers box. But definitely looking at sort of free patterns. I thought my Ethel might have been knocking about, but it's not.
I'll show a video actually about that.
Yeah, a lot of the free patterns don't use a lot of hardware. They aren't overly complicated, so they don't tend to be sort of lots of very intricate steps. So you've got things like the Ethel, the dolly, which is this one here, which probably is a little bit more involved, but it's so pretty.
It's really cute.
And I mean, the sunshine crossbody is always going to be one of my absolute favourites, because I think
love a good crossbody bag.
But it's just a nice size. It's not too big. Perfect for when you're going to shows for your phone, your wallet, that sort of thing. You can fit a couple of empty carrier bags in for all your goodies. But it has a lot of techniques that you pick up in it. So putting in a zip. It comes together via putting a couple of panels together, but not loads. So it's good for sort of like learning some top stitching. Emma's just commented there, saying the no waste tote is a good one. Step up from a dead plain tote, but it's just got a zipper pocket and some slip pockets. So that's minimal hardware as well.
Very good.
So because
I was thinking. Also, Emma had very kindly given me a pattern. Remind me, Emma, is it the Niue? Is that the one that's like a travel?
Yes, it's like a little toiletry case, travel case.
I really want to make that. And I was thinking to myself the other day, I've got pretty much all the stuff that I would need to make that. I just, so I need to crack on with that. But that's on my agenda as well. I've got that in the back of my head as to wanting to make that, because I think I'd get a lot of use out of that as well, because I do go away quite a bit, so it would be quite handy for me as well. So I think I'll be giving that a go at some point, hopefully in the next few months as well.
And it is one of those things that, just taking it step by step. Like it is something totally new. It's probably using techniques and tools and stuff that you maybe don't use a great deal, but one step at a time, and then it'll come together and you'll be like, oh my God, wow.
I think that's it. I think it can be a little bit addictive, can't it? Because the end result is, like for me now, I'm wearing bags day to day that I've made, and I'm like, I'm going through the same process now with bags as I did with garments. It's really fascinating. And then it's also making me want to explore other things, like other accessories and things like that I would have before. I'd have been like, no, I just make garments. But now I've started doing that. It's kind of opening me up to lots of other things as well. So I am loving. I'm a little bit obsessed with the old bag making right now. I just need to stretch myself a little bit. I can't keep just making the same pattern over and over again.
Well, I keep saying that I'm going to get back into dressmaking, and then I've got a pattern like sort of half cut out, and then just what we're sort of saying before, time.
So frugal. So frugal, perfect opportunity.
Yeah, but I'm going to be away for quite a bit of it.
Excuses.
I know. Sue saying there as well, Spencer Og and Woodland Stitches are great for beginner friendly.
Woodland Stitches, I've not heard of that one.
Yeah. It used to be crafted by Leanne. Like rebranded.
Right, okay. Yeah. I'm writing some of these down.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of Emma's patterns as well. Obviously, Studio 77 is very beginner friendly, and Spencer Og and Leanne's patterns as well. This one here is Leanne's.
Oh, that's nice.
Penny. I do. I'm a big fan of Leanne's bags as well.
Brilliant.
So we're going to have lots to follow you on and see over the next few months.
Absolutely. And maybe I can entice some of you bag people over to the dark side of
Well, we're enticing you over to the dark side. So and
which one's the dark side?
I noticed the other day as well, like your subscriber counts ticking up really nicely, and I don't think it's going to be long before you hit that 20,000.
No, I know, it's really funny actually. I put a couple of videos out before Christmas and they went bonkers. Literally from kind of nowhere, and I'm still getting a lot of people coming through that have been watching those vlogs from before Christmas. So yeah, I've done like recently a series which is based on like tummy friendly patterns, because I've got quite a tummy, and I think, you know, particularly in the garment making arena, you know, you can see a lot of patterns that are for, you know, people that don't have problem areas as such, and that's one of my areas. So I knew it kind of resonated with a few people when I talked about it on my vlog. So I thought, you know what, I do a lot of research into kind of tummy friendly patterns for myself, so I might as well share that. So that seems to have gone down really well. Yeah, and I did another video before Christmas about free patterns, which was part of a challenge for a gift to November. And yeah, so I just had a couple of vlogs really that blew up just before Christmas, and it seems to have continued on from there. So yeah, very, very lucky. I mean, when I started it off, I remember hitting 100 subscribers and being ecstatic.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? And then, but you've just hit a milestone as well, though, I noticed.
Yeah, I've just hit 7,000.
Yeah. Which is amazing, absolutely amazing. I think, you know, it's not all about numbers. You know, at the end of the day, you can have 120,000 subscribers. If you don't have anybody really watching your videos, it doesn't matter, does it? But it is a lovely thing. And I think it's almost like it's nice because it's kind of a recognition for you, isn't it, for the hard work? Because, you know, we are doing this for free at the end of the day. You know, it's free content, and, you know, it's nice sometimes just to have a little bit of recognition, isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely think you'll be hitting that milestone before long.
We'll see. It might slow down now.
Or you might put another video out that does really well and it'll go again.
Maybe I'll put a bag making video out and see if that goes viral. You never know.
Dawn says she's just hit 95.
Yay, Dawn! What's Dawn like?
100.
Delia Designs. I'm going to have a look at that then. Sorry, I'm just writing everything down because my memory is so bad.
No, me and you both. Absolutely awful.
Yeah. Congratulations on 95. Don't scoff at it. If you were to be, I don't know, if you went to a school playground to pick your kids up and there was 95 people in that school playground and they were all subscribed to you and they were all watching, you'd be well happy.
Andy, because Andy's got a channel as well. He's got 96. Don't be a show off, Andy. But in all fairness, Andy was on something like 25 or something like a few weeks ago. So yeah,
brilliant. That's fantastic.
Oh no, it's not. I think what he's saying is it's not he's got 96. He's just subscribed to Dawn's channel, so now
to make it up to 96. Got you.
Yes, that's my menopausal brain not working as fast.
To be fair, I have talked quite a lot for an hour and a half as well, so you'll probably be needing to go have a lie down in a dark room now.
Not at all. I mean, I don't think you can get two northern lasses together without being a lot of chat and a lot of
I know.
Just what happens. It's just imagine how Emma feels when me and her meet up, which is just like,
I dread to think.
Go home.
I didn't get to chat to Emma that much at Stitch Festival because she was so busy last year. Obviously, we chatted loads online together. That was the first time that I properly met her, but obviously I didn't have an awful lot of time with her because she was absolutely manic busy, which is amazing.
It was so busy, which was like fantastic, amazing to see.
Great. I mean, they cost a lot of money, so it's lovely when it's successful for particularly independent, you know, businesses. I'm a big supporter of businesses because, you know, there's a lot of people going out of business. There's a lot of people that are struggling right now, so it's really important to try and get behind these people as well, because it's a tough market at the moment.
And I think a lot of people are just finding it difficult, and it just sort of, it's not even so much that they're going out of business, it's just that the kind of navigating all of them challenges just becomes too much, and they just kind of think, you know, is it worth the stress, the anxiety?
Absolutely. For a very small amount of money, it's sad, isn't it, really? But yeah, we have to get behind the people like Emma at Studio 77 and things like that. So definitely.
Emma's buttering me up, saying she loves chatting with me. I match that energy.
You mean you're both bonkers? Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely, we are absolutely crazy.
Love it, love it.
So when I helped out with Stitch Festival, obviously we were traveling backwards and forwards to hers each night, which was like a 2-hour sort of round trip each way, and the whole 2 hours were just like.
It's funny, isn't it? You think sometimes when you meet people that you haven't met before that you're not going to have a lot to say, and then you end up like almost talking over each other because you've got so much to say. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. And I didn't actually think that me and Emma would be as similar as what we are, because we're quite different in a lot of ways, but we are like, we are very similar, and we literally would put the world to rights. And I also stopped going to sleep on the journey back, which obviously helped. But I think
when you've both got a love of something and you've got something in common, that can bring people, can't it, together. I think it's fantastic. I've ended up with very close friends that I see on a regular basis now that I've met through this. So it's, I think, hobby friendships are the best friendships.
Yeah, exactly. Emma's just saying, love you, Deb. Love you too,
Emma.
But it is like obviously that friendship that you've built up with Tamlin. It's Rachel, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would never have come about if you hadn't sent that video to your work colleagues. And then
not at all. I remember watching both Rachel and Tamlin, and I remember when I started my channel, I was downstairs cutting out some patterns on the kitchen table, and I had the TV on, and I had Tamlin on one of the YouTube videos, and she said, "Oh, I've found this new channel, and she's called Ruan, and it's the Yorkshire Sew Girl." I remember squealing. I scared my husband half to death, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! Oh my God! Tamlin's watched my video, Steve. Tamlin's watched my video. Oh my goodness!" And now it's like she's a really close friend. We've been friends for 3 years now. We see each other every month, and it's just it's fascinating, isn't it? So I would definitely recommend to anybody, even in the chat or whatever, reach out to certain people, even if it's online. Sewing can be quite isolating, can't it? And I'm a big advocate of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to make it more of a social hobby as well. And I think, things like the festivals and sewing socials are popping up all over the place. Online things like this, you don't have to be sat next to somebody. You can be friends with somebody online and have just as good a friendship as you can meeting up with somebody in real life. So I think all, YouTube and sewing socials, I think those connections that you've got, I'm a big advocate of it, because I think it can change how you perceive your hobby as well, and you can make lovely friendships from it. And what can be better than that?
Exactly. And you know that for a fact that you're going to have something in common. You're going to have something to talk about.
There will never be, hopefully, a dull moment, will there, when we're talking about the something that we're passionate about. So yeah.
Exactly. Well, I've had so much fun chatting to you.
Me too. I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have enough to talk about, and will anybody be there? And now I'm like, oh, an hour and a half in. Oops.
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm going to try and keep it short. Never happens. Andy's like, yeah, whatever.
He's like, I know you too well.
Loads of people in the chat. Paul is saying she's really enjoyed this chat.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Sue saying could listen to you both all night.
Oh, that's good.
Carried on, we probably would go all night.
It's been nice to me because I've seen some names that I know from obviously people that follow my channel as well. So that's been really lovely to see some of the names popping up and people that I recognise, so that's been lovely as well.
Yeah, as I say, I never have a chat where I think, oh, that was awful. Like, even if it's sort of, you're discussing not only just bag making things, or you might be talking quite businessy things, if you've
talked all sorts of rubbish, haven't I?
It's always just really interesting sort of hearing somebody's journey and where they've kind of ended up, the friendships that they've made, the the sort of diversity within sewing. It isn't just
absolutely. Oh, you meet people that you would never have met in a normal walk of life. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah. So thank you very, very much.
No, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you.
I will put all of the links. I think I put your channel and everything like that, your Instagram in the description box. But after we come off, I will get the Sew Frugal link and add that in the description.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
People can go and check that out.
And thank you to everybody who's chatted, who's been watching, you know, an hour and a half of your life. It's been really good. Thank you very much.
Yeah. People are fantastic, and we tend to have lots of people come into the chat every week, and then we'll see new people as well all the time, bringing them over to the dark side.
Yeah, that's lovely.
So again, thank you very much. So there is going to be a bit of a break with chats because just bringing up that H word again. I'm going on Sorry, Tracy. It's become a bit of a joke between me and Tracy about the holiday thing. So I'm having like a few weeks off. So just watch out for new videos popping up. You'll see me promoting them all over the place. So thanks again for your time, Ruan. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. If you're going to Stitch Festival, enjoy it. For me too, seeing as how I can't go because that's where my holiday is.
No.
We are arranging the holiday next year to around Stitch Festival. Emma's saying that's just going to kidnap me so I can come to Stitch. So good night, everybody. And like I say, thank you very much for joining us. It's been really good fun.
Yeah.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.